Hey, what's up, people? How y'all doing today? This is Two Eyes, and today we're gonna be reacting to why In Living Color ended and more than likely won't return. Hey, real quick, in case y'all don't know, I'm an old soul.
Story time.
I really love and enjoy a lot of things before my time. I was born in the late 90s, but I enjoy shit from early 90s, even from the 80s, some from the 70s. Some stuff from the 60s. I just gotta explore more of that. But regardless, I'm an old soul. I like older stuff way older than my generation. If anything, I'm one of those dudes who don't really like trap. I'm kind of getting into it, but even then, no. Like, I gotta hear something better than a beat for me to be intrigued by the song. And if it is just a beat that I'm hearing, then I'm just gonna get on the instrumental and then try to freak it myself. Essentially what I'm trying to do. Regardless, that's another tangent for another day. In Living Color was one of those shows. It was essentially like Black SNL for those who don't know. It was like the first mainstay for like the Wayans brothers, the older two, as a matter of fact. And that's where Jim Carrey started. If y'all ever seen That's So Raven, you remember the mother? She actually started off of that. Kim Wayans, their sister, also started off of that. Shawn Wayans was actually the DJ at one point, SW1, and Marlon came on later on in the series. That's also where Tommy Davidson started from, David Allen Greer, like legendary comedians. This is where they started from. It's crazy and cool at the same time, because this was no holds barred comedy. Like, this was sketch comedy about what was happening, and it was very entertaining. Honestly, I would recommend anybody who's watching this video to go back and watch any episode. Like, honestly, like, because this was in the 90s, so it was a lot more you can say on TV. Even though things were reined in, they was on a leash, but they could say anything. Not anything, but like, they could say a lot. It's not like nowadays where everything somebody says can offend somebody else. I mean, if you do get offended by it, then hey, I don't know what to tell you, man. Just try to enjoy it, because I know none of it is done in terms of spite or hate. It's more so to jest at the situation and what's going on. So regardless, with all that out of the way, I personally love In Living Color. And again, it's where the Wayans brothers really had their mainstay from. But regardless, today we're going to see this video, and I'm going to provide commentary as to why I either agree, disagree, or am intrigued by this. If it is a lot of blank staring, that's just me being intrigued and me understanding. If I disagree, you're going to see a face, because I make faces. They're not good, but I make them nonetheless. Regardless. So if y'all ready like I'm ready, and y'all done with me babbling and talking and this, that, and the third, then here we go.
In Living Color is easily known as one of the most iconic sketch comedy series to hit our TV screens. The show will go on to represent a fresh comedic perspective during its time on air that many still have not seen till this day. Unfortunately, all things do come to an end, and the hit show's final episode will air 4 years after its official premiere. Unlike SNL, In Living Color wouldn't be able to establish itself as a long-running institution despite delivering a lineup of super talent.
Yes.
However, in recent years, there have been talks and even at one point an attempt to bring back the show. So why haven't we seen In Living Color make its return? Here's why. In 1990, after proving himself as a comedy force by working with the likes of Eddie Murphy and Robert Townsend, the then upcoming Keenan Ivory Wayans would end up striking a deal with Fox. In his words, Fox would tell the comedic writer that he could do anything he wanted. As described by Keenan in an interview with Oprah in 2013, the idea for In Living Color was clear. What went off in my head is that I knew all these incredibly talented people that no one was hiring. Now is a chance for us to do what we do. It was an opportunity for me to bring all these people together, and it was that collective that made it as exciting as it was. With Wayans knowing who he wanted for the show, along with the help of his equally talented family members, In Living Color made its premiere in April of 1990. This was the first time viewers at home would get familiar with the likes of Jim Carrey, Kelly Caulfield, Kim Coles, Takia Crystal Kima, Tommy Davidson, Jamie Foxx, David Alan Grier, Damon Wayans, Kim Wayans, Marlon Wayans, Sean Wayans, and not to mention fly girls Jennifer Lopez and Carrie Ann Inaba,
she started
along
with
a lineup of others. In Living Color would go on to bring a new flavor and spirit
that the
viewers were simply not seeing.
I need to suck now.
One of the first obstacles the show would face would revolve around censorship, as In Living Color wanted to deliver an edge to viewers. In an interview in 2013, Keenan would tell the Archive of American Television that he and Fox executives would go back and forth on what was acceptable for the show. Wayans would admit that he found joy in testing the waters of what they were allowed to get away with. In its prime, In Living Color was the show to watch.
Yes.
Its combination of classic bits and providing a stage for the hip-hop community made it a rival and even for some outdid SNL. However, in 1993, season 3 of the show would become its most turbulent as Wayans and Fox would go head-to-head. According to an article in Entertainment Weekly in 1993, Keenan would storm off the set of In Living Color when it was announced by Fox that they would begin to air reruns of the sketch comedy show. For Wayans, he would not support the decision as he felt that reruns watered down the show.
Yeah.
I was so stunned. I kept saying, "You're joking. You're joking." They were so sneaky about it. Then they said they were only going to show reruns from the first season. But they're not even doing that. They're editing shows from all different seasons. I was supposed to have that control. The years I put into the show were being robbed from me.
Yeah.
Amongst the reruns, there were rumors that Tommy Davidson quietly went to rehab, pay was being held out, and new producers were being added to the show, interfering with the show's original chemistry.
Yeah.
It always was comedy from an African American point of view, but now they have all white consultants. There's a fine line between African American humor and making fun of African Americans. Fox didn't even have the good taste to bring in that other voice, and that's offensive not only to the show, but to a large segment of the population. Things got so tense on set that Keenan at one point would hide an edited episode in his office's ceiling to counter Fox's decision to air reruns. Ultimately, Keenan would leave the show that he created. Damon Wayans and Marlon Wayans would follow right behind. Now, as far as Sean and Kim Wayans, both had to fulfill their contracts and remained on the show.
Ooh.
It was absolutely the most difficult thing I've ever had to do, but I had to. I couldn't condone what they did and how they did it. No one wanted me to leave, but I couldn't continue in good conscience. I couldn't give them a show that was a certain quality and not have them return that quality. When In Living Color made it to its 5th and final season, none of the Wayans family were involved. The show would officially go off air on May 19th, 1994.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Years would go by, and In Living Color's past success would be labeled legendary.
Yes.
Several of the show's talents would blow up and become Hollywood megastars. In Living Color's power could not be overlooked. In 2011, talks of bringing back the show would go into full swing,
I remember
and Keenan was back looking to add to his legacy. It appears that he and Fox put their differences aside as they saw a need in the market for a platform that delivered the type of raw talent the show became known for.
Really?
Comedic talents, Cooper Barnes, Jennifer Bartell, Sidney Castillo, Josh Duvendeck, Jermaine Fowler, Ayanna Hampton, Callie Hawk, and Little Rel Howery were all casted to star in In Living Color's reboot. It was also rumored that the stars of the original show were down to feature in a few sketches. In an interview with Global Grind in 2014, Jim Carrey shared that he and Keenan spoke about having him on the reboot, but after the conversation, he didn't hear anything else about it. According to reports, pilot episodes were shot with the new cast, with Keenan attached as its host. Despite the hype, the revival wouldn't end up meeting the standard of the original, and fans wouldn't be able to see any of the In Living Color reboot. The project would be officially canceled in 2013.
Damn.
Now, in a talk with the New York Post, Keenan would explain why the reboot ultimately did not come forward. The bar of In Living Color is so high that if I didn't feel like we could sustain that, then I did not want to move forward. I just feel like we're in a different time. The talent pool is different, and I don't think that type of show works nowadays. The level of talent required doesn't exist. Not that this generation isn't talented, but they're just talented in a different way.
Yeah, okay.
Since first going off air, viewers and even members of the show's cast have expressed to one day want to see an In Living Color reboot or reunion of the show. But let's be real, can it In Living Color really be In Living Color during the recent climate of political correctness?
No. Absolutely
With skits
not.
like Handyman, Men on Film, and its Don't Hold Back attitude, In Living Color couldn't possibly deliver the same edge without weekly protests online today.
Absolutely.
That edge alone is what made In Living Color. Anything less of that wouldn't be In Living Color, and with that, we'll say the show will probably never return. As of now, it looks that Keenen has found a way to honor his historic creation while staying away from reboot talks. Keenen, along with his brother Sean Wayans, David Alan Grier, and Tommy Davidson, have been on the road for the Off-Color Comedy Tour, giving all those who miss In Living Color some nostalgia. What do you think? Should In Living Color be left in time, or should they try to reestablish the comedy powerhouse? In the words of Dr. Seuss, don't cry that it's over, be happy that it happened.
I like that. I like that quote. I like that quote a lot. Oh man, yo, okay. Yeah, I would rather let it be where it is. Me personally, I would love to have a reboot. I would love to be able to say In Living Color came back during my time period, during when I was growing up, or either when I was a certain age. But he's absolutely correct. Correct. Wow. It would not be In Living Color, especially with all the skits and the things that they did, like Handyman. Like you said, those sketches, Handyman, Men on Films, things like that. Those would not fly today because everybody would be on their ass every single week for about 13 different skits in one episode. Because In Living Color didn't hold back. That was the thing about In Living Color that made it so different. It was edgy, but it wasn't like a DC edgy. It was like an edgy to where like, ooh, like oh, you can do that? Like, oh, they can do that? Not in a bad way. It's like, oh, like you don't expect it, but it's like it's kind of like to where they don't care. But it's hilarious. It's not done out of a place of spite, but of course, during this era, this PC era, where every single thing is offensive, none of that shit would fly now. They wouldn't be able to make as much, or be able to actually be In Living Color if they wasn't able to say what they want to say as outrageous and as offensive as it would be now. But back then, we didn't see it as such because it wasn't so uptight. Now, with the age of political correctness, this PC era, we can't say half of the shit we would say 5-10 years ago. You can't make jokes about gay people or handicapped people because everybody's gonna be on your ass about it. You make jokes about females, everybody's gonna be on your ass about it. You make jokes talking about a specific person or a specific group of population, even if it's not necessarily meant to be offensive, even if it's actually transformative, some people will still find a problem with it and then take it for what it's not and then try to be able to have a whole hurrah about it when sometimes it's not even necessary. But regardless, that's my 2 cents on it. I would love to have In Living Color back, but I know it would never be the same. It cannot be the same. It really can't. As much as it pains me to say that, I would love to. I mean, come on now. Like people like Jermaine Fowler, Lil Rel, like all of them are hilarious. That's the thing. That's the thing that gets me. It's like I sincerely wish that we could have another In Living Color, but again, with the climate, the way that everything is, it would not survive more than 3 episodes. It really wouldn't. As much as it pains me to say it. But again, like the last quote that he gave, don't be sad that it's over, be happy that it happened. And I really am glad that it happened. Because it was essentially like Black SNL. And it was amazing. And you can watch it to this day and it still be hilarious. The original skits that they came up with was hilarious. Like the more money, more money, more money. Oh man, like again with Handyman, like those shits were hilarious. Like oh my gosh, and they did the song parodies too. I remember specifically the first one that comes to mind is am I black or white? This was around the time Michael Jackson did the song Black or White, and it is hilarious. You have to watch it. You really do have to watch it, especially at the end. At the end, it's hilarious. Yo, Tommy Davidson is just a fucking clown. Like, you have to watch it. You really do have to watch it. I might find a link to an episode or something and put it in the description. If I don't, then I wasn't able to find one, or I was just lazy. I'm sorry, but again, you have to watch this show. I mean, like, if you get offended easily and you're easily triggered, don't watch the show, because you're gonna be unnecessarily triggered. You're gonna be triggered over something that wasn't even done to, like, be mean. It's not mean-spirited, and that's the thing that I want people to understand. It's not mean-spirited. It does these things in jest. It does these in jest. J-E-S-T. In jest. In other words, in terms of just making a joke. Because we've all made jokes that's cool with us or whatnot, but it's going to be offensive to somebody else because they're going to take it personally. Even though I know I laugh at all types of comedy. I laugh at highbrow stuff. I laugh at low-hanging fruit. I laugh at puns. I laugh at stuff that seems coincidental. I can't even talk anymore. But I find comedy in damn near everything. Now, is it always appropriate to laugh? No. But does it happen? Yes. I mean, I laugh at people falling. I laugh at myself falling. I can laugh at all these different things as I can laugh at myself. I know I have faults, so therefore I can laugh and talk and do whatever myself. But regardless, that was why In Living Color ended, and I can completely see that. I mean, that's the same thing that happened with Malcolm and Eddie. They had all white writers to where it didn't really reflect an African American point of view. Whenever you have a black show, but like with all white writers, I'm not even being, and shut the fuck up to you three people that be like, oh, he's being racist when he say, shut the fuck up. What I'm saying is, whenever you have a black show and then you have all white writers, it doesn't mesh because it doesn't feel authentic, because more times than not, it's not authentic. That's not something that we would say or that we would do in this situation. If this scenario ever did occur to us, we wouldn't do this or say that or think that or act this type of way. That's the thing with showbiz. That's some of the things that I hate. Is that, like, I get if you say like something may be too far. Okay, fair. But like just to water down and demean the quality of the show is something I wholeheartedly take disrespect to, because you already see the level and the stature that it's already at and the love and the reception that it's getting. So why would you want to water it down by doing things like they was trying to air reruns and constantly and bringing in all white writers on a majority black casted show? I mean, it's just crazy to me. It's just anyway, it's more than 2 cents now. That's my quarter on this on this topic. But either way, this is Two Eyes, and I'll see y'all later.